Hooray! Hi guys, it's Ogorolela Matams, also known as Gelo Opazed, girl from Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you'll be notified that Gelo Opazed I post a video. Thank you so much for more than 93,600 plus subscribers. Na totena sana. In this live stream, it's an open discussion. I know it's a bit late, but this topic is quite important. I was going to discuss it on a Monday, but as you are aware, we were bereaved with Dave, who is an amazing, talented singer. So I wanted to just, have a bit of a break and let the burial pass first before we could start discussing these topics again. It's important, and tell me where you're watching me from, that we carry on discussing these issues that affect us young people in Zambia. This is a very strange thing that is happening in Zambia because according to uh, the newspapers and the blogs, international news, they're saying Zambia becomes the first country to plead for mercy in terms of death. So I'll be reading some of those things and then we can discuss. So I'm just posting the link. I'm posting the link now, and for those of you who want to join, Joseph Chishimba is watching from England, and others watching from all over. If you want to join, there is the link on Facebook. Let me go to YouTube as well and share the link. Then I'll read what I came across, and then we can go ahead and discuss what's going on. So tell me where you're watching me from. This is Lillian Motamo. Okay. Go ahead. So the signal is not too bad, but we're trying. And then I've also got a bit of a cold, so bear with me as I'll be messing around with my nose. But I'm just trying to survive out here in Africa. Okay, so let me start by reading what I came across, and then we can discuss. God bless you. I just received a message from an amazing supporter in the US who has just donated something. God is faithful. You guys out there, you really have supported me on this journey. Thank you so much. I am speechless all the time when I come across such. But anyway, there's a link, and I've posted even on my YouTube channel as well for those of you who would like to come across, and be part of the discussion. So let me read this. Okay, from Kitwe, people from different places. Let me read this. Okay, somebody's trying to call me and it's going to stop my stream. So tell me where you're watching me from. I've sent you links for those of you who would like to join. Let me know. But let me just search for this again. Zambia. Debt. Africa. Okay, let me read. Okay, sorry. My nose. And it's not COVID, by the way. Okay, so this is what it says. Zambia's call for debt relief triggers fear of domino effect across Africa. This is by Joanne Afrique, posted on Monday at 3 a.m. So Zambia, Zambia's President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the image that is on my thumbnail, in Paris. That was in Paris in 2016. That's the photo. Okay, so while the world's second largest copper exporter has asked for a delay in paying its interest, Chad, Congo, and Angola are also facing serious financial difficulties due to the falling oil prices and the pandemic. Will Zambia be the first African state, unable to pay its debts after the coronavirus crisis? So on 22nd September, the world's second largest copper producer asked its private creditors to defer payment of interest until April next year. The deferral, which represents a sum of $120 million, concerns three bond issues totaling $3 billion issued in 2012, 2014, and 2015. So the government plans and to investors concerned on 29th September. So Lusaka will need the agreement of 2/3 of them to implement its project. The country's debt ratio has risen sharply in recent years due to major infrastructure projects. It reached to 88% of GDP in 2019 and 32% in 2014. Now, I really want to read this part where it stated that the reason why the government is asking for this so-called debt relief is because they need to help people during this COVID-19. And I didn't believe that. When I saw that, I did not believe that. So let me just search for that again. Zambia debt relief 2020. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that they're actually even trying to lie against this. Okay. Okay. So I'll read another article. So anyone who wants to join, let me know. Let me know. Okay, so Zambia headed for Africa's first COVID-related debt default. African nation made international bond market, debut in 2012, and now seeking repayment delays. So Zambia has asked investors in its US dollar bonds to accept delays in their interest payments into next year in what would be the first African debt default on private creditors since the pandemic. So all the other African countries are not asking for the debt relief, but Zambia is asking. So the question is, why is Zambia asking if truly they have been using whatever money that they get, our current government, in order to support people, or are they using the pandemic as a way of delaying the debt, or have they misused the funds because next year is the election and they just want to buy time because they know that they have up to next year August, and unfortunately the next government will have to inherit all the debt. But there's been a promise somewhere that once a new government comes in, that some American investors are planning to put in more than $23 million to revive the economy in Zambia. So we have that on its way. Okay, Chibesa says Zambia's debt cannot receive relief from stakeholders due to the high corruption and pure accountability the international community is watching. Yes, definitely. Definitely. There's too much corruption in Zambia, but then they are now trying to use the so-called COVID-19. It's because of the pandemic. That's why we are struggling to pay the debt. And yet Zambia was already struggling before the pandemic. If you've watched the videos of the fired Bank of Zambia governor, he did state clearly that Zambia was sinking, in terms of money-wise, and that's why he was fired. And whoever has been replaced, we haven't heard much from him. But I know that our country is really, really struggling. Oh God, my nose is really running now. Okay, um, so Zambia has asked for them to pay this debt till next year. President Edgar Lungu's government said on Tuesday that it was seeking the suspension of debt service payments for a period of 6 months from holders of its 3 billion worth of international bonds beginning in October. So the country first tapped international bond markets in 2012, and at a time when its fast-growing economy and investors, were hungry for high-yielding dollar assets, allowed it to borrow more cheaply than Spain. So Zambia was allowed to borrow as much as they would want to then, because the economy was doing quite well. And that's around 2012, things were a bit better. But this current government that's here, they've completely failed and put us in huge debt. So further sales followed in 2014 and 2015 amid a post-financial crisis. Now, but Tuesday's proposal has left investors, including holders of the original $750 million, the 10-year bond, facing losses. So even before the pandemic hit the continent, Africa's second biggest copper producer was battling to control $11 billion of debts. So like what Chiwesa has said that, regardless of, because there's COVID-19, relief from stakeholders is due to, a high corruption. They can't receive that relief because of poor accountability, and the international community is watching. So they are now saying that, look, you have a battle of what, $11 billion of debt, which was way before COVID-19, and a large part of which is owed to China. As you're aware, China, hold on. I had to sneeze off camera, off sound. Okay, so $11 billion, and a large part of which is owed to China. So it signaled earlier this year that it was seeking a bond restructuring as part of a quest for a loan from the IMF and other debt relief. So on Tuesday, Edgar Lungu's government blamed a combination of declining revenues and increased unbudgeted costs caused by COVID-19 pandemic for the need to stop payments. So this is a shock that, President Edgar Lungu is trying to blame COVID-19 due to unbudgeted costs. Now, here's the thing. For those of you who are not aware, if you are testing for COVID in Zambia, if you go to a private hospital, it's not free. It's about 2,100 kwacha. If you go to a government hospital, it's free. But I saw somebody posting on Facebook that they were traveling, and I was like, let me find out about this test. And if you want to travel, then you have to pay for the test. So I'm thinking, before COVID, were they charging people for traveling? How come I traveled from the UK without paying a penny, without any COVID-19 test? But the government here is using COVID as well to make money. Now I'm thinking, if somebody is poor, doesn't have a penny for the test, it means that person is going to infect more people with COVID. So are we taking a risk as a country, or are we saying, oh, COVID is only for the affluent people who can afford to have themselves tested? If you can't afford to be tested, then you might as well stay in whatever region and we don't care about you. So that's the feeling I'm getting. How come the British government, which has had more than 46,000 plus deaths, is not saying test for COVID? They're just saying isolate yourself. Even if you're traveling, make sure you wear a mask and all the nitty gritties of keeping yourself safe. But the Zambian government is saying have a test and then pay for a certificate to travel. And yet you're coming from a country which has a low COVID rate as compared to a country like UK, which has a high COVID rate, which doesn't even ask for money. So I'm surprised that the president is saying that the pandemic has resulted in high material impact on the government's available resources. And yet our government has been able to commission a flyover bridge worth millions of dollars. The event was millions of dollars, I believe. So misplaced priorities again still comes in when we talk about our current government patriotic front. So let me just share as well on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook as well. Hold on. Sorry. Let me just go to my Facebook and share this stream because people want to join on the other page as well and they're not aware that I'm live here. Okay, so let me go. Okay. Yeah, so I'm surprised as to how our current government feels they need relief, they need help because of the pandemic. They're trying to deal with the pandemic. Okay, so Gloria Zimba says, I listened to an international interview in London, and this man said that they cannot help Zambia with funds during this COVID-19 because the present president wants more money for his re-election for 2020, obviously. And he said he would rather support other countries that need assistance, genuine assistance. And the rest, they don't, need assistance. So that's what's going on. And I thought, let me share with you this. And, on this platform, we discuss real life issues and things that affect us, especially during this time of COVID. And I know it's quite late, but I thought, because I've been having such busy days, and in the morning there's no power. Sometimes you want to do your live streams and there's no power. So I might as well just do it anytime and people will find the video. But I'll redo this live stream again tomorrow evening, a bit earlier if I can. Okay. So for those of you who would like to join from my Facebook page that want to join, that's the link. We are just discussing the fact that Zambia has broken a record of being the first African state to ask for debt relief. And the current government, which is under Patriotic Front, they are saying that the reason why they need this debt relief is because of COVID-19, which has affected the economy of Zambia. Now, thank God for investors who've been watching our stock exchange and looking at how things are going in Zambia. And our investors have said, before COVID-19, Zambia was struggling. So that's what we're talking about now. For those of you who would like to join, let me know. Because sometimes people ask me, what's the topic? And then I have to repeat myself. So my topic on my YouTube channel, which is linked to Facebook now, is Zambia calls for debt relief and becomes the first African state unable to pay its debt. Let's discuss. So we're just discussing as normal. Thank you so much from UPF for watching from Malawi, Janet Lukonde from Johannesburg, Leon from Germany. Thank you so much. Martin Musonda and everybody, Conrad from Mufulira, Chiresa from Lusaka that are watching. I have a cold, but I thought we need to discuss this just in brief. Yeah, so Zambia is struggling with the so-called debt. And our humble leader says the reason why we're struggling with the debt is because we need help as a country. Because people are struggling and what. So let me go on. Oh, no. It's now taking me to try. I don't want to try anything. Okay. Uh, Sagma from Tanzania, thank you so much for joining us. But those of you who would like to join, I know most people are shy. So sometimes I just have to do these live streams on my own and just talk, 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 talk until we finish. So I won't be long on this one. I'll just do it maybe half an hour. Okay. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So, um, somebody's trying to call me, and when they try to call me, I lose signal. So most of the loans, according to the article, we have been battling before COVID-19, $11 billion, and a large part of which is owed to China. And then, according to this article, it says that our president, President Edgar Chagwa, is blaming COVID-19 as to why they are, failing to pay debts. So the pandemic costs has resulted in a material impact on the government's available resources to make timely payments on its indebtedness, leading to increasing debt servicing difficulties. And as we are all aware, we know that next year we have a general election. So we must just believe that our current government want to use the money that will be given through COVID-19 donations for campaigns. That's just the reality. I don't know why this mosquito is all over me. Okay, so Zambia has recorded about 14,000 cases, and that is why the pandemic cases suddenly were shooting up. And yet, like I've said from the beginning, in Britain, we've had more than 46,000 deaths, but they have not said they cannot afford to pay any loans, from whoever they have to borrow money from, and they have not said they're in a recession. But our government, according to the Bank of Zambia governor, he stated that we were going to enter into a recession, meaning our economy is going to be hit badly. At the moment, $1 equals to 20 kwacha. And £1 equals to 26 kwacha. Is good for me because I get paid in pounds. So I'm okay with £100 in my pocket because I know it's going to give me more than 2,600 kwacha. But for you who has to do business in Zambia and gets paid in Zambian money, it's a huge loss. Okay, so according to this article, that Zambia has recorded 14,000 cases. Oh, really? When you tell us to pay money at a private hospital to have COVID-19 tests. COVID-19 tests in Zambia, if you want to go to a private hospital, it's 2,000. 2,100 kwacha just to have a test when it's supposed to be free. I mean, look at this. Coronavirus is not like any other virus, HIV and AIDS. You have to sleep with somebody to contract the virus. But with COVID-19, you just need to shake someone. You just need to be somewhere near somebody with coronavirus and you will catch it. And then our government decides to give private hospitals the leverage, is it the opportunity to charge 2,100 kwacha for a COVID-19 test, which is better to pay 2,100 for one person or to do it for free and save many lives. So I don't even understand when they're saying we need to save up money because we need to help people. Matilda says, let me read what Matilda is saying. Matilda says, why did these leaders accept to close the economy while our fellow Tanzanians did not? Incompetence. Exactly. So in Tanzania, they carried on with the economy was normal, things were going on normal, church was going on normal. And then we shut down the bars and everything. And now the bars are open, by the way. And business has really gone down, and in most of us who've got businesses in Zambia have been affected. I have a cosmetics line. People are now saying they wear masks, so why should they buy lipsticks? So we've been affected badly. Anyway, so prices of Zambia's three dollar dominated bonds, which were already trading at distressed levels, dropped up by 3%. For those of you who are economical, I think I need Mr. Haka in the HLM to come on this channel one of these days. Oh, this nose is so bad now. I was okay earlier. Okay, so 3% after the government proposed and stands still from October to mid-April. Yeah, a period covering 3 months coupon payments. The fall left the bonds trading at about 53% on the dollar. I'm sure those of you who are economical, you will tell us what that means. Okay, so the current government is asking for a 6 months freeze, which, Kevin Daly said 6 months freeze is a tantamount, is tantamount to a default, meaning they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay our current government. As much as they are living luxurious and shopping with 2 million kwacha, they don't want to pay this money. They have reserved money for campaign next year. Remember when Rupiah Banda was campaigning, he even had sweets and bubblegums. Next year, we don't even know what to expect. So, almighty COVID-19 has really exposed our country. And now they want to use COVID-19. So then a fund manager at Aberdeen, Kevin Dahl is a fund manager at Aberdeen, Standard Investments, who holds a small amount of Zambian debt. And Mr. Daly said investors had been bracing themselves for a potential default since April, when the government called in advisors to help in planning restructuring its debt. So the whole thing is that our country, Zambia, has a lot of billions of dollars which they owe. I need to know where this money went. That's why, as young people, as youths of Zambia, we need to know where this money has been going. I mean, how can a country be in debt of over $11 billion when I talk about Monali constituency, there's no clinics, new clinics. There's one clinic in a whole area. There's no school. Children have to walk in Lusaka to go to school. We have high levels of illiteracy. Workers are not being paid. Government workers, frontline workers are not being paid. So when they collect these loans, is it to fund casinos or is it to fund the daily living of Zambians? Shanik says COVID-19 tests should be free or affordable. People get tested. When you go to UTH, it's free. But if you want a certificate to travel, you have to pay money. So it's not free, technically. Okay, so Esther M. Muchimba says Zambians have a problem of not thinking of the future. It's like a curse of ignorance. Who in their normal mind would vote for PF again? Sure, this country our way. You'll be surprised that if anybody gives you 50 kwacha, people are willing to vote for PF. And that's why they are not misusing their money now. They will use it during their campaigns because they know. I mean, look at what happened in Lukasha. The current government was giving out 10 kgs of millimil bags and 5 kwacha for a vote per wato. And people were voting. Chacha says China gives trap loans you can't pay back. You don't pay them back. They take the land and other resources. This is why China is taking over. Yes, and the only way to stop this from going on is by us stepping up as young people and saying, look, we want change. We need leadership. that will bring in change. And that's why I always say Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is a very good leader, a capable leader, because he's an economist and he understands the economy and how to save money. And I mean, being the richest man in Zambia as well, I'm sure he knows how he can save this money. Hi, Nyota, how are you? So I know it's a bit late, but I thought we can start this topic today and then we'll carry on to tomorrow. Matilda says COVID a cover to arrest pedos, wake up people research. Yeah, because even UK that had so many cases, people are moving freely. People are going to school, people are going to college, people are doing what they want to do. And then our government is saying that they need help. Okay, so the government has scheduled a call with investors. You know, the proposal was to be discussed on the 29th of September, and that's when they've actually stated that, look, they don't have money. So Zambia had already secured the temporary suspension of payments to some official creditors until the end of the year under a special scheme for relief in the pandemic. Okay, so Zambia has already secured a small percentage, and then a small amount of time as well, up to the end of the year, December. But then after December, I know they're going to buy more time, and when they buy more time, they'll probably be buying more and more and more time until next year. And funny enough, it's amazing how I always talk about these things about government, and then some people will say she's PF. She's being funded by PF. How can I be talking about PF like this and then I'm being funded by PF? It's amazing. Okay, Shenik says they are using the pandemic as a cover up. All the money they claim to have borrowed only went in their pockets. Yeah. Very true. Okay, so the country is yet to agree on a loan from the IMF, which I know they're not going to collect. Definitely not. Which has said that it must tackle its unsustainable debts taken on over the past decade or to finance an infrastructure boom before the economy slowed. Now, do we really need infrastructure booming? Like, I'll give an example of a place called Kalingalinga. In Kalingalinga, there's a big shop, right? There's shops and everything, and yet there's no hospital, and yet there's only one school, a primary school, and then secondary school. The children have to go all the way to Kablonga for school. Now, what's the essence of us building all these shops when people can't even afford to go and shop in the shops? I thought we're supposed to create opportunities for people and then look at, when we talk about infrastructure booming, is it the flyover bridges, or is it, because I haven't yet seen any skyscraper kind of buildings in Zambia, like the Eiffel Tower and all those type of heights. I believe our tallest building is just, I don't know how many floors, but we don't have that many high floors. So anyway, tall buildings. So, analysts have said that Mr. Lungu is also reluctant to sign up to IMF mandated belt tightening before next year's elections. So he's not going to sign. He's not going to sign because he knows that if they tell him you need to clear this debt before the elections, so he's trying to buy time. So Zambia's economy formerly had one of the fastest growth. Let me sneeze. Yes, I'm live on both YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so Zambia's economy formerly had one of the fastest growth rates on continent, but investors have grown wary of erratic rule under Mr. Lungu. So even investors, they're scared. Investors are thinking, look, if we are going to invest in this country, we gotta be careful. So they have been wary because of his erratic rule, so including disputes with mining companies. That's what it says. And last month, Mr. Lungu also abruptly sacked the governor of the central bank. So you see, we are not even being trusted. Okay, there's someone here who wants to join the stream. That's Prince Dennis Music. How are you? How are you, Prince? Hi, Prince. Okay, I don't know what's going on with Prince. Okay, but for anyone who wants to join our stream, um, let me send the link. Okay, let me send the link. I know it's late, but for my American people, it's okay. We need to allow everybody around to have a bit of time with us. Yes, Rosie Kawe, I am live. That's a link for those of you who want to join live. So at least people can have access to this live stream, and then also we'll I'll have another live stream tomorrow when more people can come on board. Yeah. Good evening. How are you? So I'm just basically, talking about this to say our president does not want to pay any loan because he feels it's because of COVID-19. Hi, Prince. I don't know what's happening to Prince. Okay, so Billy Kamanga says Mwansa Kapwepwe once said, if we don't handle our independence very well, colonizers will come back in the form of investors. That's true. That's true. Uh, Prince Manika says, yes, I'm enjoying. Thank you very much for the message. Prince, I thought you were joining on the live stream. Okay, thank you for taking your time to discuss this. Sorry, I was just checking on the door. Okay. Ossi says, hi, Madam Lynn. Sadly, the other African nations will follow. Nigeria will be one. President Buhari has foolishly borrowed too much. It's sad our African countries, what they really desperately go through. Okay, let me try this other one. So I have another link. My nose is running. Watching you from Mama Tabaka Peter. Of course, they're not going to go through. Kingsley says, Hama Jobo and Sisi. Okay, so obviously, President Lungu has been asking for this debt relief. And then this is another part that I wanted you guys to listen to. So, despite Zambia is the second largest producing country, is one of China's prominent debtors, owing billions of dollars. That's what the article says. Chinese projects finance loans to Zambia amounts amount to between US dollar 6 billion to $9 billion, based on unofficial sources, said Robert. Okay, so however, not all funds have been dispersed, while the Zambian government itself has been unable to account for its obligations to China. So Zambia has failed to, give us a proper reason as to what type of relationship they have with China, and why we have never seen the official documentation of the relationship between Zambia and China. So an official audit has been withheld for several years, he said. And then Zambia's external debt is projected to soar to above 60% of the GDP in 2020. So the IMF, International Monetary Fund, predicted in mid-July, that Zambia's economy will contract by 5% in 2020, compared to the growth of the 1.5% posted in 2019 due to the coronavirus pandemic and severe drought. So Zambia is a landlocked country, Southern African country, which has defaulted on repayments of loans acquired for several construction projects. So it would make sense if the construction projects give people opportunities of work, but there's no employment at the moment. There's a high level of unemployment in Zambia, and also, and nowadays is what you call junkies, who are drug users. They use a drug called, is it Volo or something, from the compound. And I will say about Monali constituency particularly as well, because this page is Monali constituency. Um, in Monali, we have this drug going on. You find very young guys taking these drugs, and when they take these drugs, they are helpless. They're not working. They're not doing anything because the government does not have any opportunities for the Zambian people. So, what's the essence of borrowing billions of dollars when the money does not even provide free medical treatment? When there's no free medical treatment, when there's no paracetamol, you call it paracetamol in the UK, when there's no Panadol. Let me see, I think Prince is here now. Hi, Prince, how are you? Oh, he's lost signal. When we have no free education in Zambia, when we have lots of young people not even having school uniforms. So, where are we spending all the money? Only they know. Okay, Zambian Fabness says Lungu is feeling the pressure. Very sad that he went to the extent of getting those kids to do that useless petition today. Those kids looked so young. There's a lot that is going on. I'm going to go to his page on that petition matter. It's shocking. Okay, so Zambia's debt is rating to deteriorate significantly in 2020, and says it will remain one of Africa's worst country risk performers in the year ahead. So Zambia will remain one of the West African countries. Pathetic, right? Zambia's sovereign has been unable to maintain payments on various loan agreements and contractor commitments over the course of 2019, said Besseling. So mining revenue has dropped nearly a third between February and April 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic, according to the country's mining chamber. And obviously, it could be because flights were cancelled, so the gold, we have gold in our country, but people are living in poverty. So maybe the gold was stuck in the warehouses, it couldn't be transported, and that has affected the pandemic. But we only have a few shares in the same mines anyway. The bigger stakeholders are the ones who are not even from here, because we've decided to sell the mines. They've decided to sell the mines. Okay, so nearly half of the country's tax revenues goes towards debt servicing. That is why in Zambia everything is high. Food is expensive. There's so many things to pay for. Toll charges, toll gates. You can find 6 toll gates on one route, 6 on one route. And then there's high electricity tariffs, very high, you know, high, high electricity, water. So all the bills. Oh, Prince is here now. Hi, how
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm fine.
How are you
Where are you watching me from?
doing?
I'm fine.
I'm
What's
okay.
your contribution? What's your, con- what's your contribution for our topic?
My contribution is we need to wake up as young people. This country is being destroyed by the thieves, so-called thieves, peer people, and we need to stand up as young people.
Okay. I think your signal
Your,
is breaking a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me come back again.
Okay. You try to log back in. Okay. This is a very powerful question from OCJO, who says, how can another government provide relief to the people? It's shocking. It's shocking. It's because, like I always say, the coronavirus has really, really exposed our African countries with their incompetence. Because if they had planned, in case of emergencies, we have hospitals. In case of emergencies, we have money to sustain people. We have food. We have this and that. But because they never ever had plans, this is what we are now. We're waiting for people to bring face masks from Korea to donate to us. So who do you expect to struggle? It's us. Okay, so Shanik is asking a question where prisoners get uniforms with our tax money, yet our children wear torn uniforms. Can you imagine that? They wear torn uniforms and we have to buy while them criminals get them for free. Today, I got some uniforms for an organization in Monterey East. These people help children who cannot afford to go to school, and what they do is they make sure that they teach them in a big. It's just a makeshift kind of arrangement. It's not really a proper building, but they have produced grade 12 students there. It's a really powerful school, so I was able to get 2 uniforms. And those of you who would like to support more uniforms, please, you can do so. We needed 100 uniforms. And then because of the labor as well, so we said, okay, because the budget, there's been an increase on the materials as well. The materials used to be about 11 kwacha, but there's a high increase, like double now. So instead of us getting the planned materials, we ended up just getting just a quarter. So that school is so good with the work they do, and they want to make sure that at least children can have some uniforms. Yeah, and our government doesn't supply them nothing. This is a registered organization, and yeah, this is what we're going for in our country. Okay, so Shenik says only a few traffic lights and roads very bad. Yeah. Paul Simusokwe says, let's all of us on social media vote like never before next year so that we prove PF wrong. Okay, so Nyota says building hospitals, clinics, and schools are considered to be expenditures as the government is required to hire health and teaching personnel whom they have to pay. Shopping centers are investments. It's pathetic. It's so pathetic. I'd rather we have those kind of things done for the communities. So Africa to America, A to S says just want to know what are your plans as a party when it comes to Chinese takeover of the companies and treatment of Zambians. I think there's no bad investor. All investors are good because they come to our country to bring opportunities and employment and everything. But what's wrong with what's going on in PF is because they've never had a plan as to how people need to be looked after by the same foreign companies and how much people need to be paid. There's no national minimum wage. Just like people say, I need to be the labor minister next year because then I'll make sure we have a national minimum wage and not what is going on. So, with what's going on presently, what we need is to look at the failures of the government, and the government has really, really failed. Like Chandrik is saying, PF they've really, really failed, and because of the failure, and that's why we are complaining, ever talking about these issues, because we know that they will never do anything to help people in Zambia. And we need to also think in those lines as Zambians. Are we voting for PF because we want a party that belongs to the great man Michael Chilufya Satan? Or are we voting for PF because we eat something, we get something from them? There's a lot of high levels of poverty in Zambia, and the levels of poverty are shocking. And then to see them asking for debt relief, I was shocked. I'm like, you're asking for debt relief, and yet people are still suffering in Zambia. And then you want to use the pandemic as a ways or means of asking. I was sneezing. I felt it coming. Okay. Esther says the church relief is a campaign strategy. The church, it's a shock. Let me just go to his page and read what was saying. Okay, so we'll carry on this topic tomorrow because it's late now, but at least we start from somewhere, understanding topic, and then we'll carry on tomorrow because some people will say, oh, this live stream was too long. Let me just go on our president's page. Edgar Chabalungu. Yeah. My nose. It's night time, so I need to sleep. Okay. Wow. So
It is the Lord of truth, and we are asking you to help the next.
so there were some young people that were speaking, and some church people as well. I will share that on my YouTube channel so that you can see all the shenanigans that was going on. She says two young men were hired and both were paid a good sum of money. One invested well, the other drank. Who do you vote for? Vote for the one invested his money. Nyota says, I understand, but you see, prisoners are actually property of government. They can't be in civil as it's a difficult. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you so much. I will need to take some ginger for the night as well so that I can better. Otherwise, I was just planning just do a few minutes live stream and then we'll carry on with the live stream tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. As you can see, my nose is just running and running and running, and I keep on sneezing. But we'll carry on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Zambian time so that we can finish the topic by 8 o'clock tomorrow. But I just wanted us to start briefly checking on this. Otherwise, there's a lot of comments from all over, and I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. You guys are a blessing. Take care. One nation.